All right, and we're back for a very special episode. We're shooting live. You see the background's different. We're shooting live from Southern Ontario today. We have a very, very special guest that I found while I was on vacation from shooting other episodes with Nan. And we have here today, who do we have?
Her daughter,
Carol
Hunter.
Hunter. Used to be Carol Turner. This is Nana's daughter. So what I want to do is sort of get, we'll call this episode Other Voices, right? Where we're going to get a different perspective of everyone's favorite 100-year-old Nan, right? And we thought we'd get some stories from her daughter. So just maybe introduce yourself and tell us, where you were born and when you were born.
When I was born?
Oh, where? Huh?
Edinburgh. I was born in Edinburgh in 1950, December 23rd. And I now live here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's the whole episode. We're finished.
That's
okay,
all.
Great. Thank you very much, people, for coming out. It's been a minute and a half.
What would you like to know about my mother?
No, well, let's just start from the beginning. So you were born in 1950. Did you grow up, because Nana has talked about this famous place called Birdie House, right?
Right.
Did you grow up in the Birdie House?
I was born in Birdie House. I was there till I was 2. And then we moved to our current...
Right, well, let's back up. You're skipping stories. So what do you mean you were born there? You're born in a kitchen with the fireplace and all that? Like
I was born in my granny's bedroom.
Okay.
In Birdie House.
Yeah.
That's where I was born. And we lived there, as I say, till I was 2.
So what was that like? What do you remember?
I don't remember too much. I was just a kid, a baby.
Yeah. Why were you not born in the hospital?
Because people didn't do that these days. They got born at home.
Okay. All right.
My sister was born at home.
Right.
So you didn't run to a hospital.
So up until that time, this is 1950, you guys still lived in Nana's old neighborhood, right?
And yes.
And who was there in Birdie House? What family members were still there?
My granny.
Yeah.
My mum's mum, my granny.
Granny Steele. We've heard about her. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Granny Miners. Yeah.
Miners, sorry.
Yes, Miners. Yeah. And she lived there, and my mum and dad lived there, and I was born there.
Right. Okay. So then you guys moved, and we're going to talk to Nana in a different episode about moving to where she lives now. So at what age were you when you moved?
2.
Okay.
2 years old.
To the inch.
Yes. Yep, I was.
So when you were a kid, go back to when you were a kid. You're like 5, 6 years old. What was Nana like as a parent? So how old was Nana when you were born? Like 30? 35?
She was born in 21 and I was born in 50. So what's that?
Oh, 29.
29.
All right, so she's about 30 years old.
Right.
And you're a baby boomer. It's post-war. Your dad's back from the army and stuff. So what was it like when you were 4, 5, 6 years old, when you were younger?
It was great. I mean, my dad worked. My dad was a builder. He worked. Came home every night for supper, for dinner. What else is there? That was it. Not much.
Right. So just tell the people more details. What was life like? What was it like living in the inch?
It was fine. It was very quiet then.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a lot of people moving into these houses.
It's not very busy now.
No, but it was very quiet then.
Right.
And I think, if I remember rightly, my dad was the only English guy in the road apart from across the street.
Right. We're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about going down England and all that. So what was Nana like then? So when she was 29, tell everybody what she was like as a 29-year-old. As a 35-year-old when you're 5 years.
Yeah.
When you're 5 years old.
Fine, typical mother. She worked part-time in the co-op, in the grocery store. Went to school. I went to school.
Mm-hmm.
She
Across
took
the
me
street?
to school. No. I went to school down at the Inch Park.
Mm-hmm.
And she took me to school and picked me up, brought me home.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 5-year-old. She wouldn't let me walk to school.
Why not?
It was
quite safe in those days.
Yeah, well, I know, but it was quite a walk to go through the houses to.
It's about half a kilometer to your school.
Yeah, but still.
Okay, so she was a great mother. She walked you to school every day. Yeah, and did she work at that time?
Maybe not. Maybe she started work after that.
Where?
Because my sister was born in 56.
Yeah.
So it would be after that when my mother started working.
Where?
She worked at the co-op down the street in the stores.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
So would she come then and pick you up at the end of school?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Until I got older to walk on my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, she'd take me down and pick me up, and yeah.
All
Apart from
right.
the one day that I walked home on my own, and she wasn't a happy
What, when
camper.
you were 5 years old?
Yeah, when I was 5, I decided I was coming home. I didn't want to be at school anymore. So when we got out for uh, for break,
Mm-hmm.
right, I decided I was coming home. So I walked in the door, and she says, "What are you doing here?" I says, "I'm home. I don't want to go to school anymore." So she took my hand and she marched me right back to school.
Mm.
No ands, ifs, or buts.
Is it lunchtime you came home?
No, it was
Recess.
well, what do you call it? They don't call it recess in Britain. It's
They call
playtime.
it tea time?
Playtime.
Tea break?
Yeah, well, playtime. And yeah, 15-minute playtime, and then I decided to come home.
All right, so she brought you back, yeah?
Yeah.
So she would be at home
Yeah, she was at
the
home,
whole day.
and I walked in the
Good.
house, and she said, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
I said, "I don't want to go to school anymore, Mum. I'm finished for the day."
Right.
She goes, "No, you're not." And we marched right back to school.
So in terms of her being a parent,
Uh-huh.
what was she like? Was she, was she kind? Was she sort of stern, domineering? I mean, what? Because we see her now
Yeah.
as this 100-year-old person with great
Yeah.
stories, and,
Yeah.
and we're drinking whiskey on camera, and we're having these great times, and she's a laugh, right?
Yeah.
But what was she like back when she was in her 30s? As a parent.
She was good. She was fine, no problem. She just used to, when my sister was young, her Anne and I used to, torment my mother, and she used to run after us with a slipper.
Mm-hmm.
She'd run through the house with a slipper,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd say, "I'm going to wait till your dad gets home. Will you wait till your dad gets home? He'll deal with you."
Mm-hmm.
No. When my dad got home, she'd say, "You need to deal with these girls. They're driving me crazy." And he goes, "Well, what did they do now?" She goes, "I knew it. I knew you'd take their side. I knew it. What's the point in me asking?" So,
So she couldn't
So my dad just used to laugh.
couldn't handle two girls. I think maybe she wanted boys instead or something.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. She just,
Because she was quite happy to get boys for grandkids, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just me.
Well, maybe, I don't know. No, she was quite happy. But no, I don't think she wanted boys. No.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. I never asked her that question.
Right.
No, she was fine.
So then later on, when you became a teenager, what was your relationship like? I mean, 5, 6, 7 years old is fine.
Yeah.
But did you cause her more trouble as you became a teen?
I don't think so. I went to school. I went to high school, Liberton High School. It was fine through school, no problems. I guess maybe when I was 16, 17, 18, I used to go to this club, and then one night I stayed late and I walked home on my own, and she sent my dad out looking for me.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad nearly, throttled me when we got home, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But that would be the only time, I
Right.
think. Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't cause her any problems. I don't think so.
What about your sister?
She probably caused more problems than me,
Yeah.
because she was younger, and
Right.
she, a rebel in her own mind,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
She probably did. I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. But
Well, let's talk about your dad. English.
Yep.
From Suffolk, right?
Yeah.
Bury St. Edmunds, and the only, as you said before, the only Englishman on the street. So what was he like as a person?
It's great. It's great. Used to bring us sweeties on a Friday because payday was Friday. Used to bring my sister and I sweeties and my mother sweeties on a Friday. And he was great. Did his garden, went to the pub for a pint, took the dog for a walk. Yeah,
the pub around the corner.
The pub around the corner, yeah.
Where Nana worked.
Where my mother worked, yes. Yeah. Yeah, he'd take the dog out and stop him for a pint, and yeah, he was great.
So what were his experiences like being English and living in Scotland, do you think?
Well, he'd been there a long time because he was in the war. He was on the base in Scotland, right? And but then across the street, one of our neighbours was there. He was English, so they kind of,
So did they form a nice little friendship with English people?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
what did he think about in general? What did he think about Scotland?
Well, him and my mother used to have a lot of words about Scotland, and my dad used to say to her, "No, it wouldn't be Scotland without the English."
Right.
And she used to go bananas. you know. They used to have like little friendly rivalries, you know.
Right.
This is fine, you know. But he used to tease her a lot, you
So
know.
was he just trying to wind her up, or do you
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
he meant these words that he
He
said?
tried, no, he was winding her up,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And she fell for it all the
Because
time.
he wouldn't live in Scotland,
No,
for 50 years without liking it, right? So
no.
he wasn't being
No,
anti-Scottish,
no, no,
but he
no.
knew that Nana had a short fuse,
Oh
right?
God, yeah,
And he could
yeah,
wind her up, and she's
yeah,
very nationalistic, right?
yeah, very.
Yeah, yeah,
And he used to wind her up, and then she'd go on and on and on and on and on, you know.
yeah.
And that
About
was
what?
well, she used to call him a Sassenach,
Yeah.
which is a derogative word for English
No, I think a
people,
lot of
right?
people have learned that word in that TV show Outlander.
Or did they say
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
No,
the
I've never seen
Sassenach.
it. Yeah,
The English
Sassenach.
girl
Yeah,
is called a
yeah,
Sassenach, right?
Sassenach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she used to call him. You need to go back to where you came from. She used to call him an old Sassenach.
Yeah.
You know, so they'd wind each other up, you know, but nothing major.
Yeah.
You know.
What about when the football was on, though? Scotland played England.
Oh, yeah,
Anything
yeah,
would happen?
yeah,
Rugby or something?
yeah. No, more the football, right? Oh my God, she was fanatic, you know.
Mm.
And my dad would say, it doesn't matter, they're not going to win anyway. I don't care what you're getting worried about, they're not going to win.
Mm.
And 9 times out of 10, they didn't
Yeah.
win, you know. And he used to wind her up about that, you know.
Well, as I understand it, even with the club teams that they like
Yeah.
different teams,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Because in another episode we talk about Nana's love of the Hearts,
Right,
but Granddad was a Hibs fan.
that's right.
And how was that just him trying to wind her up as well?
No, my dad was a Hibs fan. He used to go to the New Year's Day match at Easter Road.
But how would he have chosen that team?
I
Even though
I don't know how.
Nana would have been on their first date, she would have been talking about the Hearts, right? Probably had a maroon dress on or something,
God
right?
knows,
Do you know what I mean?
don't know.
And so how would he have then picked the other team in Edinburgh?
I don't know how that came about, but he was always a Hibs fan, and he used to, every New Year's Day he'd go to the game, and
Yeah,
he was always a Hibs fan.
okay. So he would wind her up because the Hibs would beat the Hearts.
More than so, yeah,
Right,
I would
right.
imagine.
So
Yeah.
how did that go?
Well, he never used to say too much, but my mother used to take it as a slight,
Mm.
against her team.
Now Nana has told us about him, and he was quite a quiet person, right? So how did a quiet, reserved man from England get along with the flamethrower from Birdie House, right? So I don't know how did that actually work out in reality.
Well, the story goes when she met him. Did she tell you the story of how she met him?
Mm-hmm.
How he was drunk?
Well, we're going to talk about that in a different episode, right?
Right.
So go ahead, you can tell the story.
Yeah, well, the story goes, and she tells my sister and I that, your dad was drunk, and I picked him up, and she picked him up, right? And
at the club, the dances.
At the dances,
Loneham.
Yeah. And they seemed to get along, I guess. Well, my dad was a good-looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
She was lucky to have him,
Mm-hmm. Well, she was a looker too when she was a kid.
I know,
right?
that's what I'm saying, but yeah, that's what she says. She picked him up, and then they stayed at my granny's. Well, because they stayed there at my granny's because my dad was billeted to do it there, right?
Yeah, Birdie House.
Yeah. And my granny used to say to her, did she ever tell you what my granny used to say? If you two ever split up, he can come and live with me, but you're no coming back, right?
Because your granny liked him a lot.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah. But she was joking at it, I was all joking,
So how did they get along? Because they have such different personalities.
Who, my mother and dad?
Yeah.
Good question. I mean, but my dad had he wasn't quiet all the time,
right.
Like he was very firm at things. When he said something, opened his mouth, he was meaning it,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, obviously they got on well together. They got married, right?
Do you think they were opposites?
Yeah.
Because, the things that she's told me, and I remember Granddad from when I was a kid, but
right.
He was quiet. She's obviously not quiet.
No.
She liked dancing. He couldn't dance because she told me the story in a different way where he couldn't dance, right?
That's right.
And she was trying to help him dance, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah. But no, he was quiet. He was a quiet person,
Yeah.
And they got on well together. I mean, he never forgot her birthday. I mean, he was really generous, kind. He would not forget birthdays, Christmases, and stuff like that. So no, they got on well together.
So let's talk about traveling down to England then, because Nana has told some funny stories about that.
Yeah.
her inability to understand the accents, which I find crazy that she couldn't. So what was it like? You're a kid and you used to go down for summers or something? Like,
2
set it up
weeks.
for us.
First 2 weeks in July, because that's when the building trade closed down,
Yeah.
and everybody went on vacation.
Country shut down, all the workers.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks
holiday.
in July,
Yeah.
all Edinburgh shut down.
Yeah.
Right. So our building trade in Edinburgh. So we go down the London bus. We go down to London. We go down to Bury St Edmunds, Mildenhall.
Down on the bus.
Yeah.
Now, how long does that take?
12 hours.
12 hours on a bus.
Yeah.
So there's 4 people, 3 people when you were younger than your sister was born, right?
Yeah.
So 4 people.
Yeah.
On a bus.
12 hours.
12 hours. Did the bus stop somewhere for,
it did.
for a
it
snack,
stopped.
toilet?
It stopped a few places on the way down. You could get a cup of tea and whatever, or get out and puke like I used to do,
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't go right to London. I can't remember the last stop that we stopped at, because my cousin used to come and pick us up in our car,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'd go to Mildenhall, which wasn't far from where we stopped, right? But then we stayed at my Nan and Granddad's for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun.
So tell us about it down there. What was it like?
Well, the weather was always beautiful. I don't ever remember having cold.
Well, I think the weather's beautiful in comparison to Edinburgh everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah. It is beautiful down there because you're down south, right? But it was nice. My granddad had chickens and, veggie garden, and we used to go pick the fruit.
So they lived in the countryside?
Well, no,
the village.
The village, yeah. It was a village. So they had, land, and they grew vegetables and strawberries and had some chickens running about and everything,
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. It was really nice, And we used to go to London for the day and, see the sights of London and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. So what about you had a big family, small family? Like
My dad?
What were they like?
Well, he had 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 5 of them, I think, if I remember rightly. 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
Yeah.
2 brothers, 2 sisters.
It's a big family.
My dad. Yeah. And 2 brothers died in the war. And
2 of his brothers died in the war.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my Auntie Joan and my Auntie Ethel, they obviously lived in England, right?
Right.
And that was his family.
Right. So tell us about the cultural differences between you guys and that.
Well, my granddad was very, very, very English, very highfalutin English. I guess my mother would have a hard time understanding because he was very very proper is the word I'm looking for, and but yeah, he was a great guy, big tall guy. Now,
what do they think about the Scottish woman marrying into the family, like coming down there?
I don't know, because my nana died when I was 5.
Okay.
So I don't remember too much about her, right?
Your dad's mom.
My dad's mom, died when I was 5. But my granddad would be there when we went down, and I mean, my mother got on with him, like, I guess because she had a hard time understanding him, but she got on with him. There was never any animosity,
Well, I mean, how did they communicate if they could not understand each other?
Well, I guess sometimes she used to ask my dad, see what's he saying.
So your dad would translate.
Yeah, I guess my dad would say, well, whatever,
Okay.
But I guess eventually she got to understand him in that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was fun times.
Did she like going there, Nana?
Yeah, we went every year, 2 weeks every year.
Right. That's it. Not for Christmas, not in the springtime, just in July.
First 2 weeks in July. Yeah. And we used to go to the races, the Newmarket races, the horse racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my mother and dad loved horse racing, right? We used to go there for the day, and we had fun times, good times. Because remember, it was at that time a village. It was not like a built up, suburban area.
What about the food? Was it different for her?
I guess it would be, yeah, because English
Are they eating different food?
Have organized food times,
Okay, so what does that mean?
1 o'clock is your lunch, 5 o'clock.
The Scottish didn't do that?
Well, we never at home anyway. We didn't do that, but 5 o'clock was your tea.
What about the type of food? Was it different? Are you eating the black pudding and the tripe and all that stuff, right? The Scottish people were eating?
I don't know about tripe, but we used to eat big meals like pork and roasts and big salads and stuff like that. So yeah, it was, and fish, a lot of fish. It was different, but kind of scheduled.
Right.
Like Sundays they have 1 o'clock lunch, and then they go to the pub in the afternoon for a couple of pints, and then 5 o'clock you'd have leftover lunches and salad and stuff
Right. And
like
Nana
that.
liked this, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fine.
Was there
you
a
know.
pub in the village?
Yeah, there was. It's a nice pub too, because you could take kids and sit outside.
Yeah.
And the kids, we would just all run about outside
Yeah.
the pub, right? And like a playground area, you know. Yeah, it was good, you know. It's not. I don't know what it'd be like now.
So she enjoyed her time going to England.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't complaining about it. Oh, we have to go to
No.
England
No.
next week or something like that.
No.
She liked it.
No.
Yeah.
No. It was no. She didn't. You know, she never complained.
Right.
And that was their stand. I guess that was. I don't know. I have no idea. I would know, but I'm assuming that was something that was decided. Like 2 weeks we'll go to England. You know, because obviously my dad had to see his.
Well, did she ever have any interesting, intercultural situations when she was down there? Do you remember her like making a mistake or not understanding something or doing something ridiculous?
No, she got on well with my Aunt Ethel, one of my dad's sisters.
Right.
My Auntie Joan. I mean, they got on fine. I mean, 2 weeks a year is hard to
What, make a mistake?
Aye.
You don't think Nana can make a mistake
Oh,
in
I
2
think
weeks?
she could make a mistake in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she she liked it down there. I mean, it was totally different from Scotland. Totally different.
Now, did this continue on as you got older? Did you go down every July?
Yeah. Continued on the week.
I'm saying like into your teens and stuff. You went down there.
Yeah, and then I went down myself once, and I stayed with my cousin Joey. I stayed with her for 3 weeks, which was awesome. And I went down there myself. It was great.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after, when you then moved to Canada later on in life, when you're in your 20s, do you think that Nana and Granddad continued to go down there on their holidays when they got older? They kept going every year?
I don't know the last time they ever went.
Yeah.
I know that I don't think they continued to go down there, because by that time my granddad would have been dead.
Yeah.
I don't know when he died, but he probably been dead. And the house might have been gone, so I don't know if there was anywhere for them to stay. My Aunt Ethel died, so there was not, a lot of family.
So they sort of lost touch with their with family.
Yeah. I mean, my mother still keeps in touch with the kids down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I don't think they traveled down there.
Well, that's great. I mean, so the important thing is that we want people to understand is that she enjoyed going to England, right?
Yeah.
Enjoyed being around the people.
Yep.
There were no issues. There might have been some banter in the pub, right? There might have been a football game on or something, right?
Yeah.
There might have been some banter here and there, but
not,
she actually enjoyed going down there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, she had no qualms about that. She liked it, But if truth come to push, we might have been living down there.
Yeah.
Because my dad wanted to go down there after he came out of the war.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. My mother didn't want to go.
Right.
She wouldn't go, So that's why
she wouldn't leave Scotland.
She wouldn't leave her mother. That's why they ended up staying in Scotland.
Okay.
But
Did they think about moving down? Because her mom passed away in 1968.
After that, no.
Do you think about moving down then?
No. I don't think so. Nothing was ever discussed then. I don't remember it, but nothing was ever discussed then. We never. I guess it was like right after the war when he was out and everything.
Right.
He said, we could move to England.
Okay.
And she said, no.
She wasn't. Just to make it clear, Nana was not leaving Scotland.
No.
Under any circumstances.
She was not. No. She her feet were embedded in in the sand in Scotland. Yeah.
Well, let's jump ahead. Let's fix the camera here. Let's jump ahead to when her mom died. So you were 18 years old, yeah? 17, 18?
Yeah.
So she was quite close to her mom, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what was she like when her mom died? You knew she was dying? She had a stroke or something?
She had a stroke.
Yeah. So what was Nan like after that happened?
She's like everybody else. She was devastated. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I used to stay with my granny a lot.
Right.
On summer holidays.
Were they similar people?
Were they similar? Yeah. Stubborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were similar. My granny was very particular about things,
Right.
And which my mother is, you know. And they were similar. But yes, I used to stay with my granny's summer holidays. It's great.
Right.
Great times.
In Birdie House.
In Birdie House,
yeah.
Yep.
So her mom stayed in Birdie House, even though everybody else moved out, right?
Yes.
To different places.
That's right.
Yeah. She was last. the last woman standing in Birdie House,
I
right?
guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Right.
stayed there till she was gone. But yeah.
So how old was Nan when this happened? She was about 45 or something, right? Still quite young,
Yeah.
mid 40s, right?
Well, I would
40?
even say I was 17.
Yeah.
How old would she be? I was 67. Yeah, but
Mid
45. Yeah, something like that.
45.
Yeah. So yeah, she was relatively young, I guess, if you want to call
Was
it
there a big
that.
funeral? Did Nana speak at the service, or what was that like?
I don't even remember that, son. It was just a blur. I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember. I don't even think I was at the funeral.
Why not?
No, I don't think so. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Okay.
But I just know that Anne and I are sure when Anne wasn't there. I know I wouldn't.
Andrew's sister.
Yeah, Anne's my sister.
Yeah.
She's 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it was I guess in their terms, a bigger funeral.
So that was the late 60s, and then another bombshell dropped on Nana's head in the mid 70s. About 7 years later, you decided to move to Canada, right? And that's sort of the last great bombshell of her life. So let's talk about that. What was she like when you? So I was born in 72.
Yep.
And you moved to Canada. We moved to Canada in 76, right?
Right.
So she's happy. She's got her grandkid, right?
Yeah.
She's very, very happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then and another one. We had Sharon, my cousin.
Yeah.
So there's two of us. She's very happy about that.
Yeah.
And then you tell her, oh, by the way, can you pass the ketchup? And I'm moving to Canada. Like, how exactly did you tell her that you're going to leave?
I don't know if I actually. I mean, we always talked about it moving, and I guess she just finally realized maybe one day you'll be gone. And it took a long time. It took a long time to
move here. No one thinks that. No. Moving. So obviously, when it first came up, what was her reaction?
I think she was dumbfounded.
Right.
I think she was devastated.
Right.
My dad didn't say anything. My dad says, whatever you decide is your life, right? But she probably was just, if I know her, she was like, you're taking my grandson away and blah, 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 blah.
So then what was like, do you remember the last week of living there and being with them? Was that difficult?
Yeah, it was, because my dad took us to the airport. That was really hard.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Right? We're skipping questions here. So the week leading up to leaving, what was that like?
I don't remember too much about it.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just a normal try to be a normal self every day, and not, because remember, I was pregnant as well, so I guess she maybe didn't want to accept me.
Do you think she was sadder losing you or losing little Graham? Right? It's a simple question, right?
I would say losing little Graham. And then another one coming along, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. So then the day you went to the airport, they both came, or no? She wouldn't go.
No, just my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's like this even to this day. When I visit and I leave, I have to say goodbye to her the night before, and then she stays in bed. I always get a morning flight, so not to wake her up.
She does that with me.
Right.
When I go home, she'll say, "Okay, I'm saying goodbye now because I won't see you in the morning."
So then you had to say goodbye to her at the at the house at the nighttime, the night before, right?
Yeah.
And then so you woke up and your dad drove you to the airport.
We took a taxi to the airport.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And
what was he like then?
Oh, I mean, my dad was very, he didn't really.
As a stoic man, what was he like going to the airport?
Quiet.
Right.
Very quiet. Didn't say too much, but he did say to me, "If you want to come home, you come home."
Mm-hmm.
But
and you never did though.
No, many times I thought about it.
Yeah.
Many times, but no, he didn't say too much because at that time you were 4.
Mm-hmm.
4, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get. It's not like it is today, where you jump on a flight and you come here. Like straight from Edinburgh to here. No.
Mm-hmm.
We had to fly from Edinburgh to
Glasgow.
Prestwick to Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a nightmare,
Well, you could have taken the train to Glasgow, right?
No, not with you and luggage and everything else, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so it was harder then, much harder. I wouldn't advise anybody to do that now. But
Right.
anyway, that's just
But you moving though to Canada gave your parents a chance to see other parts of the world, right?
yes, absolutely.
So I think their first visit to Canada was in the late 70s. Am I right? 79,
Uh,
something like that. 78,
some,
79.
yeah, maybe because Craig was only 3 or something. Yes, maybe
Right.
then. Yeah.
So what were their impressions? What did they think when they got here?
Well, when my dad was not crazy about this place because you couldn't walk to the pub or everything was so far. You
And
know.
actually, folks, we're still in the same backyard
Yep.
that my mom's had since 1976.
Yeah.
So Nana would have been sat here, right, on the chair
Yeah.
over here, something like
Yeah.
that, right?
I mean, they
Drinking
like
her
this.
whiskey, right?
Yeah, they
So
like.
they love the backyard that
Yeah.
we're actually in. We're shooting right now. But
my
there
dad,
are
no.
no pubs around here.
My
Right?
dad used to say, "No, I wouldn't want to stay here. There's no, there's nothing, there's no
Don't make the Canadians angry.
sorry about that, but there's no, like you can't just walk at your front door and take the dog a walk and walk down the road and jump in the pub and then
Well, there's a park right there.
there's a park. I know there's
There's a park
parks.
over
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But you see,
There was a
my
pub around the corner from their house in Edinburgh.
my
right?
dad
So,
used to say, "You can't get your feet in the sawdust in this country."
what does that mean?
That means when you're in the pub, it used to be sawdust on the floor in pubs, right?
Okay.
So that's what it means. You can't, you're not sitting on a stool with your feet in the sawdust.
Because it was too organized, too clean, or something.
He just thought it was too big, too big for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he came back many times.
Oh,
right?
aye, they came back for holidays, but
Right.
he told me outright. He goes, "No, I wouldn't want to live here."
What about Nan?
No,
No.
she wouldn't want to live here either.
Why not?
No. Well, because my dad wouldn't want to live here. She wouldn't want to live here. She'd want to be here, I guess, if the kids were here, but she would never want to live here.
But she has traveled here probably 20 times
Easy,
in 40 years.
Easy.
25 times.
easy. But she likes to go home.
Yeah.
Her house is her house. She likes to go home.
Well, she's been in the same house since 1952,
That's
right?
That's right.
So what then, over the years, what did she say about Canada, about traveling? Because you also took her to the States as well, right? Across the border,
and
things
we
like
took her
that.
to Niagara. We went to Niagara Falls.
Did she like Niagara Falls?
Yeah, she liked it. But again, she would never want to live here.
Right.
Never. You know? She she just said it would not be a place for them.
Well, she's not exactly a traveler. I've talked to her off camera about this, and I asked her where she's traveled to in Scotland. She's been nowhere.
No, she's not a traveler.
Nowhere. I named cities. Have you been here? Here? No, never.
No, she's not. She's never been a traveler.
Right.
She likes her house.
2 weeks in July.
Yeah.
To Bury St. Edmunds.
Yeah.
Back on the bus.
Yeah.
12 hours, go home, right?
And then Canada, and that's about it. Yeah.
Because I don't think she's even been, and I'm not even joking, I don't think she's been around to bordering neighborhoods of where she lives, right? Like she lives in the Inch, and she hasn't been to many neighborhoods that are around, right?
If you talk to
like
my
2
mother,
kilometers away.
No, if you talk to my mother about Edinburgh, she'll say, I'm not a townie.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
She's, I don't know these places. I'm not a townie.
Right.
She's always been like, she likes her house, and that's it. You know?
Well, I think a lot of people can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
So then, Granddad passed away in 87, right? So maybe you can walk us through, because Nana has also talked about that, but maybe you can walk us through that when that happened.
When that happened, we were in Florida on a vacation. And we were leaving Florida to drive home.
When you say we, you mean me and you, not you and Nana.
No.
Yeah.
You, Craig, his brother, Ian, and me. We're leaving Florida to come home. And the phone rang, and it's my sister. And she says, Dad's gone. I said, what do you mean he's gone? Where's he gone? She goes, no, he's gone. He passed away in the middle of the night. Oh, great. Okay. We had to get from Florida back to Toronto. And if any of you people know the drive, it's a long, long drive.
It's 24 hours.
24 hours straight.
That wasn't a very good drive with a very sad Carol in the car.
So we got back here. I got the kids organized because I had to go home.
Now, did you call Nana from the condo in Florida? Did you get a hold of her?
I tried to call her. I couldn't get a hold of her.
Okay.
I don't know.
And back in those days, there were no cell phones, right?
No,
so you're using the phone.
Using the landline.
You only have the landline, and maybe
Yeah.
if you get lucky on the way home, you could stop at a roadside,
Yeah.
truck stop or
couldn't get
something,
her
right? Like
until we got back to here, to the house.
2 days later.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
called her, and then
And what was she
was
like?
out of it. Most of the time she was out of it.
Yeah.
But then I got the kids organized. I had to, make sure everything was okay here. Then I had to get a flight and go home.
So when you got there, because she told me she was drinking whiskey straight for a couple of days, right? So what was she like when you
When I got home, she was fine when I got home because she'd sobered up.
Right.
She was fine because
like 5 days later.
I guess Anne kept tracking her and everything, right? And she was sobered up by then.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a shock if you go to bed one night and you don't waking up.
Right.
That's it.
So he was 71, is that right?
August 70.
Right.
1, 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, same thing.
Yeah.
So that would have made Nana how old?
66.
66. Okay. So she has now lived without Granddad for the past 35 years.
That's right.
34,
That's
30,
longer than some people have
years.
been married.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she has.
In the same house too.
I honestly did not think she would live this long without him, but she has.
Well, isn't it crazy to you that she has reached 100?
Yeah.
And that's what.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this series, because not many people get to be that age, right? So, she's not exactly been the healthiest person in the world, right? I mean, she's on the Scottish diet. No offense to Scottish people, don't get angry, but come on, you know what I'm talking about, right?
She
eats a lot of garbage, right?
Touch wood. Yeah, she's not.
She's had, 75,000 bottles of whiskey. She's
never had major touch wood, major health problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing like that.
Right.
Which is good, But yeah, 35 years she's been.
So when is the last time she was here in Southern Ontario? It's been a couple of years. Right?
Yeah, my sister and her were here maybe, 6 years ago. Maybe.
Okay, so she was 94.
Yeah, she was in her 90s when she last came. Yeah. Oh, and then she came with Sharon and Norman.
Okay, so she was 97.
Yeah, so maybe 94, 95, something like that.
But as I have spoken to her about this, and she wants to come back for a holiday, but she's just too old, right?
She's too old. Yeah.
Can't get over here.
She can't. She's too old. I would be.
You could go get her.
No, I would
bring her back in a wheelchair on the plane.
The price is.
The insurance.
The insurance would be astronomical because nobody insures somebody at 100 years old.
But it's great though because she has great grandchildren. My brother has 3 kids, right? So it's great that she got to come over here.
Yep.
And meet
she's
her great grandkids, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then she has Bailey, so she's still got her grandkids.
Yeah.
She's she's I think her stubbornness has got her through 100 years.
Yeah.
Like her,
her drive, her will.
Yeah.
Her stubbornness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When she's I'm going to say sitting beside you is like you're as stubborn as your Nana.
Okay, so the traits went from Nana straight into me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? I'll tell you that.
So you then, when is the last time you saw her?
Well, because of COVID and all this nonsense, right? Yeah. The last time I saw her was, actually last August. So.
Okay, so about 10 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You went there to see her.
I went to see her. Yeah. Just before she turned 100.
Yeah. You did not.
I did not.
Could not for family medical reasons, right?
Yeah.
You could not make it to her 100th birthday party. But you've seen the videos, right?
Seen all the videos.
And you'll go over
as soon as I can.
Next year, this year, right? See her, stay with her for a while, right?
Yeah. After all the problems here get sorted out, personal problems, then I will go home. Yes.
Okay.
She knows that too.
Yeah, she's very excited to see you.
Yeah.
Right?
She better get that room cleaned up. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the life of my mother and us and everybody else here.
So if you could leave our viewers with how do you sum up Nan Turner? Because you've called her stubborn a few times. So I know that she is. How do you sum up?
Well, if everybody had a mother like mine, you'd be okay. Well,
that's a great way to sum up, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Carol. Thank you very much for coming out and being part of this series. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I wanted to give you guys a different perspective, right? on Nana and also on her husband, on my granddad, and things like that, right? So stay tuned for more episodes of Bravehearts. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye bye.